This time, we're going to talk about the gentlemen, all the allies, and some side characters as well from Amnesia, Amnesia Memories, the Otome game. And I have seen the anime, so I might reference that as well. Now, I will mention that this is not intended to be a spoiler stream. So what that means is I am not going to be getting into major plot spoilers. I'm not going to be talking about what happens specifically in each route. I will talk about different characters. I'll talk about their personalities. I might share a few minor things about their roots, more as premises, setups, and things like that. I may talk about the premise of the game, and I might share some of my reactions and my opinions about things, but I'm not going to straight up say what actually happens in this game, because if you want to check it out on your own and play Amnesia, it's the kind of game that you may have more enjoyment if you go in fresh without any expectations. It's a game that's near and dear to a lot of folks' hearts. It's a favorite within the community, and it's also considered iconic. There are some of the characters that are in Amnesia that are iconic. If they are in beloved Brainrot, that means I can't stop thinking about them. That means I'm desperate for this character. I love this man. He's my favorite. He probably made me cry, or I made him cry. You know, I will say that this game really can play on that feeling of suspense. And every character in that game felt very sus to me. Absolutely sus. That's why it had to be, sus boys to sociopaths, because that's what you get in this game. They're either they're sus or they're straight up sociopath in Amnesia. There's no in between. Maybe there's one who might kind of be in between, but he would still fit in the sus category to me, especially in the beginning. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. Oh, man. And again, the anime to this is pretty popular. It's pretty short. There's only, I think, 12 episodes of the anime. So a lot of people discovered the Otome game because the anime was so popular. But I believe that the Otome game came out first and then came out the anime, which is fun. So we're talking about Otome games and anime today. All right, let's talk about the first guy in alphabetical order. This is Icky. Icky down here. Hello, Icky. Oh, Icky. Oh, this guy right here. He is a playboy. He is the playboy of all playboys. In fact, he's a magic playboy. It's like he puts some kind of crazy spell over any woman that looks at him, just can't help herself, just falling all over this man, And then he flirts back with him. So, you wake up like VNDB said, you're as the heroine, supposedly you're dating this man and he's over there flirting with a bunch of chicks right in front of you. He's got a fan club, the Icky fan club. And nobody likes this fan club. Nobody likes this fan club. No. Bunch of trifling wenches. They're horrible. They're horrible and they're violent. And they're super jealous. You got to be really careful about this fan club. And the poor heroine has no idea about the fan club or anything because, amnesia. Amnesia, what an annoying affliction to have when everyone around you is dangerous and sus and, all that kind of thing. The main character, the heroine, also works in a maid butler cafe. And I hear that these are pretty popular types of cafes in Japan. Now, I don't know I've never been to Japan. I just play a lot of Otome games, okay? Let me tell you how many Otome games that I've actually played. I just discovered Otome games last year, at the beginning of last year in 2024. And since then, I've played nearly 30 of them. Yeah, I know. I see, that's why I made this channel, okay? That's why I made a Twitch channel and YouTube, because I just want to talk about it, you know? And not a lot of people know about Otome games. I didn't even know the genre existed until I accidentally came across an Otome game on my Nintendo Switch. And then I read it and I was like, what is this? I want more of this. This is amazing. So, yeah. 30 games later, these are what my opinions are. So Icky over here, you know, he's popular with the ladies in a way that's absolutely ridiculous. He has this whole fan club that's absolutely obsessed with him, and he flirts back with them, you know, like what the heck? I'm your girlfriend, dude. Why are you talking to these girls? Like, stop. But he's also very, you know, he's very smart too, you know. He's smart. He's funny. Sometimes he makes me laugh. He's smooth, you know. He can be smooth. I can see why the ladies like him, you know. He's cute. So Icky, overall, what do I think about you, Icky? I'm going to say for me, I don't brain rot over him. I'm going to put Icky under boyfriend. Yep. That seems to suit him well. You're under boyfriend, Icky. Congratulations, you're my boyfriend. You're my first boyfriend of the night. Alrighty. Okay, this next guy over here, this is Kent. Kent with the glasses and the belts. This guy. So everyone in Amnesia, if you take a look at them, they're full sprites. They look like Jack Skellington. They have long, skinny arms and legs, and really strange sense in fashion. In fact, we put them in fashion jail because every single one of them, every character belongs in fashion jail. And on Reddit, as a collective, in the Otome subreddit, we put all of the Amnesia boys in jail because their outfits are so terrible and strange. I mean, it's really giving Hot Topic in the early 2000s. It's giving like Hot Topic 1999, okay? Fashion jail. And Kent is the worst of them all. Of all of the fashion jail boys on this tier list, Kent belongs there the most. He's wearing at least 20 belts on his jacket. Dude, what do you need 20 belts for? What do you need 20 belts for? It's unnecessary, okay? You don't need 20 belts. And they're on your jacket. Why? How much do clothes cost in the Matrix? Okay? Kent's personality, some might describe him as neurodivergent. He's extremely smart, but he's also extremely awkward. You know, he doesn't really get social cues. The things just right. Everything goes in one ear and the out goes right past his head. He's very analytical, but he just has a hard time figuring out people, and definitely has a hard time figuring out the main character as his girlfriend. Also, he's like a math genius. He tutors the main character in math. But the thing that I really don't like about Kent, okay, listen, I hate math. I hate it. I hate math. And Kent made me do math, like actual math, real math. There's a math quiz. He gives you a math quiz pamphlet as a gift. As a gift, he gave me math. And in order to get like the good points with this man, I actually had to do math. Well, of course I cheated. I mean, of course I was going to get a guide and just get the answers. Oh my. Thank you, Otome Kitten. I'm not doing math, okay? No. So because you made me do math, Kent, I'm still mad at you about that. You're a nice guy, though. He's really nice, even though he's awkward. Sometimes he can be a jerk, but he's well-meaning, and he's actually a nice guy. He's probably the most reasonable out of all of these other guys, where, you know, at least I didn't feel like maybe he's a murderer. For some of the other ones, I was like, am I dating a murderer? I don't know. Sometimes you're boring. You're not exactly boring, but for now we're putting you under boring. I mean, maybe I could be your friend. We'll put you under bestie for now. That's fine. It's fine. Next we have Shin. Shin is a poster boy. He's a poster boy and a tsundere. He is very mean. He's very rude. And what I mean by tsundere is he's got a prickly exterior. But then once you get to know him, they fall in love and they soften up a little bit. Shin is mean and he's rude from the beginning to the end. And calling you idiot, baka and stuff. Throughout the whole route and in other people's route. He's the kind of guy when he works in the maid cafe that yells at everybody else to get back to work. Yes, he is. That is definitely the kind of guy he is. Shin, he's a year younger than the main character, and he's also a childhood friend. So he's got a lot of tropes associated with him. That was at least 3 on Reddit when I do the rankings, the BBB rankings. Poster boys oftentimes end up getting banished by people a lot just because they committed the sin of being boring. But this one isn't. No, most people don't usually think he's boring. People usually would banish him because he's mean. I'm gonna banish him today. I don't know. I'm feeling banished. I'm sorry, Shin fans. I know. He's popular. He's not boring. He's definitely not boring. He's too mean to be boring. Toma. Okay, if anybody here has seen the anime or played the Otome game, you know why Toma is famous. He's iconic. Absolutely iconic. Toma, I'm not going into spoilers today, so I'm not going to tell you why exactly he's iconic, but he's definitely a butt hear me out type of guy. But you know what? I really like him, and especially after the FD, he had some chef's kiss moments where we really gave him what was coming to him, He deserved every moment of that in Amnesia crowd, and it was hilarious. He's also a childhood friend of the main character. He also can be very sweet and loving, but just too much so, Like overprotective. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Toma is overprotective. Way overprotective. Yeah, that's a perfect way to put it. He's not afraid to take measures into his own hands. That's a great way to put Toma. He will take measures into his own hands, whether you want that or not, it's in your best interest, that's what he would say. He's doing it because he loves you, childhood friends and all that kind of stuff. You know what? We're putting Toma under bride. Yep. I can feel the judgment now. It's fine, okay? It's fine. Ukio. Okay, so Ukio is how do I describe him? He's a patron of the Maid Butler Cafe. He's their number one customer. He's always there every day. He's friends with Waka, who's the manager of the Maid Butler Cafe. And he's a sweet guy, when you first meet him. And everything, he seems like a sweet guy. He's an artist. He's a photographer, He's artistic, but he's also really quirky. He's questionable, He does strange things, like sleeping outside, just 'cause, he sleeps outside. And I'm like, the first time I started realizing that this guy was just always hanging out at the parks and things like that, and didn't seem to be caring about getting home or anything. I'm like, is this guy homeless or something? Do you need help? Should we... Do you have someone we can call? Are you okay, sir? Are you okay? Because I'm not quite sure that you are. No. In fact, I have suspicions that you might be very much not okay. And then he has another side to him. I'm not going to tell you exactly what it is, okay? Because you might want to watch the show or you might want to play the game. But sometimes Ukio scares me. He scares me sometimes. You know, he makes this face. He makes a crazy face. He's definitely sus. Like I said, sus to sociopaths. There's no in between with this game. They're all one or the other. He's probably more in the more extreme side of things. But listen, I actually love Ukio. He's my favorite. You know, he's sweet, you know, even though he's extreme. Sure, fine, okay. But he's sweet, okay? And he's cute. And he's sad, you know? He's real sad. I like sad boys. So because of that, you know, he is capable of great love. Ukio, you're in Brainrot. You're in Brainrot, Ukio. We love you. You're the best. You're the favorite. Okay, now, because this is a non-spoiler stream, I did put side characters, like I said before. I did put side characters in here because I wanted to rank them. I know enough about them, I can rank them. And so that way, because there's side characters from all of these games that are on here, this is like 200 husbandos across, you know, around 30 games. There's some mobile games right there, actually. So you don't know if anybody on here is a secret character. You don't know if anyone here has a route only in their FD. You don't know if they're a locked character. You don't know any of that, you know? You just know that there's love interest and side characters and all that good stuff. But this next guy, this is Waka, and he's the manager of the Maid Butler Cafe. Waka's fun because he's always the manager of the Maid Butler Cafe in every world, every story that you play, every storyline. But in each storyline, Waka's personality is quite a bit different. I think he has like 4 different personalities. He's like drill sergeant Waka. He's quiet, stoic, silent Waka. He's flamboyant Waka, who has great taste in colors and shopping and clothes and stuff. That one's fun. There's assassin Waka. He'll say stuff like, you know, I can take care of all of your enemies. You're like, what do you mean by take care of all of my enemies? You're the manager of a Maid Butler Cafe, guy. Okay. When he's drill sergeant Waka, he'll yell at everyone and say things like, the customer is the enemy. Ah. I don't think that's the best attitude to have for a successful business necessarily, that the customer is the enemy. But, you know, Waka, you do you, you know? You do you. But Waka, he's so great. He's successful, you know, as a manager. You know, so he has a good job. He's fun. I think he's fun. In every one of his personalities, he's fun. I think he's super cute. He's a Megane with glasses. He's adorable. I love his look. I love his design. And there was a story about him in the FD. He's just great. He's great in everything I see him in. So I'm going to say I have the hots for Waka. I like Waka. I didn't get enough of content for Waka. There's just not enough. So we're going to put Waka under Brainrot. Definitely Brainrot for you, Waka. You're great. You're awesome. Yep. Okay. The next character. This little cutie right here, this is Orion. Orion is best boy. He's the little fairy that is kind of responsible for knocking out your memories. And he tells you that in the first second of when you first see him. That's the first face you see. And he's like, oh no, I'm in your head. And I accidentally knocked out all your memories. I'm sorry. I'll try to help you get through this time and help you fix it. So he tries, he's got good intentions. And he tries to make things right. He tries to help out the main character. And he's just this energetic little fairy boy that's in your head, and no one can hear him, no one can see him but you. Now, what's interesting about Amnesia in the game is the main character is a self-insert. She's the most self-insert character that I think I've ever seen. Well, except for the games where they don't have eyes. She has eyes, okay? She's not that. So she does have eyes, but she's a blank slate with her personality. She doesn't have her own thoughts. And everything that she says is a decision that the player makes for her. And so in place of thoughts for the main character, we have Orion here. He is the voice who's reacting to things in your head. And he is ride or die. He is best boy. He is just so friendly. He just became the best friend that you would just, he's just so sweet and wonderful. In the few moments in the game when he's not in my head, when he wasn't in the main character's head, when he wasn't there with us, I had separation anxiety away from this sweet character. Orion, we love you. He's one of my favorite characters in the whole game. Actually, he might be my favorite character in the game, but in a romantic sense, he's too Shota for me. So we can't put him up there, but we're gonna put him under Bestie because I would adopt him. He would be my son. I love Orion. I love him so much. Okay. So that was Amnesia. Now let's see if I want to move anybody around while we're here. Do I still want... So under Beloved, I've got Ukio and I've got Waka over here. Yeah, I still Brainrot. There is a delicious CG of Waka in the FD. That keeps him in Brainrot right there by itself. Toma, yeah, he can stay in Bride. Toma stays in Bride, okay? Leave me alone. Oh my goodness. Then we have Icky as the boyfriend. I hate his fangirl club. I don't like them. They can step. But Icky himself, at first I didn't like Icky very much. But then, he grew on me, He ended up growing on me and he ended up being pretty fun. So I'll keep him under boyfriend. Icky, you can be my boyfriend. That's fine. But we're not getting married, no. Bestie, we've got Orion. See, you know what? I like Orion way more than I like Kent. Orion never made me do math, okay? He never made me do math. So Kent, I'm sorry, Kent. I'm moving you down to boring. I probably should put Toma under But Hear Me Out. Like he deserves to be there. But I want to bride him. And then poor Shin over here, he's getting banished. I don't hate you, Shin. You're fine. But I can't with you and your attitude. I'm done with your attitude, okay? I've had enough of your sass. Yeah. Don't call me Baka. Stop calling me an idiot and a moron every time you open your mouth, okay? We're done with that, okay? Okay? You insulted everything. You insulted my singing, okay? You insulted my home. You insult me at every at every chance that you get, and I don't appreciate it, right? So, yeah.